For this video, I've brought you up to the horse stables where we are still building, and I want to explain to you what we're building and why we're doing it. Now, if you think about it, in Morocco, wood is pretty scarce and jolly expensive. So the only place we ever use wood is we have to pay, and it costs a lot of money, for these beams that form the roof of the stables. And the donkeys have exactly the same quality of roofing as we have in our own housing. There's another thing I want to say about wood. It doesn't work here. I come from England, and when I first came to Morocco, I thought it would be pretty easy to put wooden pole fencing up to keep the areas contained. And of course here you can't get the very good quality wood cheaply, and it has to be embedded into cement in very dry ground with very little rainfall. And the minute it's kicked by donkeys, off it goes. And the weather really isn't conducive. We get up as far as maybe 50 degrees in the summer and can drop at night in the winter down to 3 or 4 degrees. So wood is a no-no, and it really doesn't work for the stabling itself. It becomes so fragile, a kick from the donkeys, and it's completely finished. So what we're doing here, and it looks a mess, but I think this is quite exciting. You can see first of all the row that has been built already, and this area here is going to be the new barn where we keep all the food, and then there are 6 stables. 3 at the top are finished, and Umnas and Jonathan have moved in already, and the men are working on the roof, completing the others. But down here, look at these piles of, you might say, rubbish, earth, and I'll tell you what it is. You see, the men tell me that for the buildings themselves, they can't use the earth off our own land because it isn't strong enough. We can use it for the walling, and we're building another wall here. Again, we build these walls. We don't use wooden poles because they just don't last. They're actually rubbish. But you may wonder where this earth has come from. And we've had 2 lorry loads this morning. And what is happening in the village itself is that some of the old buildings, which were traditionally built out of earth in the traditional way, are being pulled down. A lot of newcomers, and particularly people coming from Europe, are wanting more modern housing and are building in a more modern way. So what they've done, they're bringing this earth over, and it's actually the buildings that have been pulled down. So we are actually using the old buildings from the village to sieve and process and use to build the walls of our stables. And you can see our gate there, and just outside the gate, they haven't finished it yet because they've been waiting for this earth to come. We're building a little room where we're hoping, when we're fit to have visitors at this end of the refuge, that visitors who might want to come and see the horses, we're hoping that our friends, our female friends in the village, because I'd love to introduce some females here from the village, will be able to work in that little room. They can do the stitching of our baskets that we will sell in the boutique, and people will be able to see the traditional way of working. This bamboo here is all local, and that's been brought over. So what happens is that, I'll take you up now. We have men from the village who've come over to work, and we have our own builders as well. So just let me show you the roofs. You see here with the mud walls, our builders at Omar have put wooden beams across there as support at the top of the doors. Then we just move along a bit. And you can see in here just where they're starting. They're starting now to place the beams across. Now going to the next one, under the ladder, which of course is unlucky, but we'll give it a go. And here, Hussein's working in here. Here's one that's been completed. So the beams have gone across, and then they lay the bamboo, and then they put a waterproof layer, soil mixed with some cement, and it becomes completely waterproof. Omar has been building the stables here for 6, coming on to 7 years now, and we've never ever had a leaky roof, which I think is remarkable. Now here you can see these are my two Omars actually. Omar on the left is the builder and Omar on the right is the assistant. They are watering the soil that has been taken from the mounds of earth that have been brought in and sieved. They're now watering it. See how they're working? And that is then put into the blocks over there where you can see the men from the village working. And you'll see the gentleman there pounding. Now there's a little bit of history here. 10 years ago, when we moved onto the land and built our villa, we had to build a wall around the whole estate. And this gentleman 10 years ago was part of the team that built the wall. He's 10 years older and still pounding away. Can you imagine? Now those of you that have been to Morocco and you look around the countryside will note that you never see wooden fencing. Land is always enclosed either by walls, the old traditional walls, and more recently beesbrock that they cover with cement, or traditional thorn. But for that reason, wooden post and railing just doesn't work. Now, let's have a look in here, because Umnas and Jonathan like to share a stable. So because their horses, it's going to be painted in here. You can see the ceiling. Because they're horses, we don't cement the floor because there's a danger they can't get the grip and they will fall. So every morning this stable is cleaned out and left to dry, and then fresh hay is put in the evening. What we're very much hoping this year is to begin to save enough money and have an arrangement with a company in England where we can import liquid rubber and rubber matting that's used very frequently in England, and we can start to line these stables with rubber. Now, there will be a yard outside these stables that this wall is for, but I just want you to see, we'll have a peek over the wall, and there you can see Umnas grazing away, and just beyond you can see Jonathan. They go out there during the day. We grow fassa here and we water it. There's still a lot to do. We're in the very early stages, but the horses do like to be up here. So hopefully by the time you come back to visit, we will have made a lot of progress and this will be more beautiful than it looks now. But we are moving on quite quickly. So bye for now.